The other thing that staff's going to have to do then is piece together what this roster is going to look like. It's still in that, I think they said 126 was the roster size where they have it, and they still haven't brought in the entire 2025 class.
It's
so that's
really 133.
Yeah, when you have those guys that are coming in. So they still have some attrition to do there. I thought what Matt Rhule said as he broke down how he envisioned the 105 coming together was really interesting, where he said, yeah, maybe the front half is going to be what an NFL roster would look like. Then a 53-man, he called it a 57-man. Then maybe you have a third team that you sort of put together on the back end of that. And then those last 10 spots or so, he essentially was like, I'm going to save some of those for culture guys, for practice players. He mentions Roman Mangini, receiver who's gotten, I don't know, maybe he's appeared late in a game or two in his career. Guys probably like, he used to talk about Grant Taggy, who was very much a special teams guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it feels like you could go a lot of different ways with the back end of that roster. You could go high upside guys or just redshirt players. He's opting to invest in culture and players who maybe you're never going to see the field or very, very little of that. What do you guys think of that strategy? Like, is that sort of the next version of the walk-on program for Nebraska, or what do you think of that approach?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting, and what I took away from it was Matt Rhule is usually a step ahead of what is going on, and this is a step ahead of probably many coaches who've never even gotten this far yet and thought about what they're going to do. And his experience in the NFL has taught him to, okay, it's good to have a plan. Here's this group, here's the next group, and then we'll have like a taxi squad, you want to call them, the 10, whatever they're called, But yeah, you have guys who are important on the team, maybe not playing, but they're important. Who knows if it's the right thing to do, but at least he's got a plan, and he's thought enough about this. I mean, that's very important in a football program, to be organized and have some kind of structure. And it's harder than hell to do it when the game keeps changing. The rules keep changing every year. Mm-hmm. So I really think Nebraska is in good shape with 70 people on staff to do all this stuff, and a guy at the top who is a CEO and is trying to be a step ahead of everybody else. So, yeah, I mean, will those be the walk-ons? Well, they'll be on scholarship. So right. I don't know.
In spirit.
But I mean, I wish there could be like a college football practice squad where you have 105 and then maybe you have 10 other guys who are hanging around helping. But they probably won't do that. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, totally in line with who Matt Rhule's been and who he wants to be. And I call it the Brandon Rigoni rule. Rigoni was maybe the best of those smaller gunner-type players that we've run across in a long time. Matthew May was really good, too. He was on that 08 and 09 team. But I think that's kind of what you're looking at. You're looking at versatile guys who can play whatever you need them to do. You need them to go over and give you a look at corner or at defensive back or at safety or at running back or receiver or gunner or whatever you need them to do. They're coaches in the making. And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at guys that, maybe wouldn't necessarily make the team if it were just about that. But, Phelan Sanford.
Yeah.
Got to be a place for that guy on your team, right?
Right.
That guy. So Eli Sullivan from 5 years ago. Guys like that. Guys that you absolutely want on your team to contribute, and maybe if they can go find another Mekhi Nelson. Mekhi Nelson is going to get called up, so to speak, and he'll be in the top group of the running backs this year. But if you can go find another Mekhi Nelson out of a prep school somewhere and have him be your scout team guy for a couple of years, that's what you're looking for. They got a running back like that right now, Kenneth Williams, I think. And so I think that's his name. Guys like that.
So, like, to me, what's interesting is, okay, if you don't do that, what else? Like, what are other avenues to go? Because I think you've seen the SEC kind of acknowledge, hey, we're going to limit scholarships a little bit, because in this era where everyone's getting money, you're probably not going to be able to stockpile talent the way that you want to anyway. So whoever you're trying to get to come in as like your fourth team, whatever, you might as well have someone who's versatile as a practice player and a giver of culture and all the rest. So fascinating. It just, in the past, those guys would be roster spots 120 to 140.
Yep.
And now suddenly they're 95 to 105.
So here's a point to remember. The scholarship money is part of the revenue sharing, and that's the first revenue sharing dollars to go. So however many scholarships you appoint or allot, that eats into your chunk. You can't go, just as an example, Dylan Rhule, you get this money, and then at the end we'll allocate. It's all the scholarship money first, and then you allocate what's left behind. And so the more scholarships you allocate, the less money you have to divvy out to your players as what you would call performance or positional revenue share. So if you go to 105 with your scholarships, you're spending more money than the teams that go at 85. And so you're going to see, I don't know if Nebraska will give 105, they may give 95, they may give 88, whatever it is. That's something just to keep in mind.
Definitely.